flobel.org. We're a 501c3 nonprofit whose mission is to connect people so they could share information and empower each generation to teach the others. And through peer-to-peer mentoring, we differentiate our organization from many others. We have over 900 advisors globally in all different fields. Some of them are here tonight. Thank you for coming. And we have 3 major programs. First Mondays is one of them, which is a quarterly networking program that we've done in New York, and LA, and DC, and Connecticut, and Long Island, and the Hudson Valley. And our second major program is called Women Who Lunch. And I see some of the former attendees in the audience tonight, and that's a women's only network. And we do that mainly in New York and LA, but we're about to restart it in Philly. And Sandy Weston is here, who's the new advisor from Philly, and thank you for coming. And we've also done it in Boston and the Hudson Valley. So, and our third program is called Pick 3, which is our virtual mentoring program. And any new advisor could pick up to 3 other current advisors to seek information, career advice, personal advice, and many people have found jobs through that, or just guidance. Now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce tonight's moderator, who will then introduce the other panelists, Miah.
Thanks a lot, Dan. And thanks everyone for coming. I hope everybody had a pretty nice day, and if you didn't, we got you covered. We have wine in the back. So I'm going to start with some introductions. I urge you to read the full bios here, but I'm going to, for brevity's sake, keep it moving. I'm going to start with this character here, full disclosure. This is a friend of mine and my boss. Stephen Bouikidis is a principal at Magma Digital, a technology consulting and marketing firm specializing in healthcare, consumer products, education, and high tech. His areas of expertise include strategic assessment and development, search engine marketing, and digital solution development. Next we have Cindy. Cindy Tran is Senior Director at NC, a Publcis health company. She previously held progressive marketing leadership positions at Unilever, managing $1 billion plus in global brands. Cindy holds an MBA from Harvard Business School with second-year honors. Her specialty includes healthcare marketing, consumer products, strategic consulting, research and insight, business development also. Bruce Ditman. Bruce is the Chief Marketing Officer at Markham LLP, a national accounting and advisory firm with a focus on B2B, middle market, public and privately held companies. Next, we have Lucien Etori. Lucien is Vice President and Head of SALT Branding, New York office. He has spent nearly 20 years building brands across all aspects of strategy, naming, trends analysis, creative, digital, and digital marketing. And last but not least, Baney. Jay is an entrepreneur and business builder specializing in strategic planning and tactical implementation. His approach is analytical and measured with a focus on maximizing shareholder value and return on client investment. Since 2012, after 2 successful entrepreneurial ventures, Jay has worked in various capacities with CapturePoint.com, a boutique software and application development firm. First, I wanted to start the discussion about branding and with an article I sent all the panelists about what's happening with the startup community now, because they're doing things very differently. And our discussion is going to revolve around the practice of branding. And we're going to start it with, when should a company form their brand values? So I want to open it up on the floor with Lucien first, since his brand, his company Salt Branding deals with forming the actual brand. So Lucien, if you can just give us some insight of, what the article of Artsy.com, their CEO of Cleveland, had said that he really didn't know when to really start the brand, formulating the brand's values. He kind of felt like if you scale up in rapid growth and have over 100 employees, that's probably a little bit too late. But at the beginning, he thought that it might be too soon. So I'm just curious of all the panelists, their input of when should brand values really be formulated.
Thank you for allowing me to go first. This is a question that we deal with pretty much every day, and my answer would definitively be right at the beginning, as you're setting up the business plan. Even if we're talking at that stage, okay. Values are the driver for everything. They are going to be the map that you're going to follow for the rest of your journey as a brand. They can change, right? I think a lot of people, unfortunately, think a lot of branding practices, a lot of branding tools are immovable. Once you've set a positioning, that's it, you're done. Once you've set your logo, your slogan, etc., you're done. You sort of have to go with that, and that's not how the world works today. There are too many disruptions. There are too many leaps and gaps that are technology driven that you have to respond to in order to stay relevant. So the values, however, won't change. Why are you in business? Why are you doing what you're doing? Who is it for? What in your background is going to inform and irrigate and continue to inspire the way you do business? Those are things that you have to debate, that you have to capture, that you have to edit, that you have to expound on right at the beginning as you're setting the framework of your business. That's my personal opinion, and that's something that and it's about 30% of our business is startups at SALT, okay. And we do counsel a lot of, oftentimes it's a couple of guys out of Stanford, other times, they've got Series A's and B's and they have some money, and they're thinking, well, what should we do? Should we start to put some of this stuff down on paper? And the answer for me often is absolutely. You should, before you start to contract out things, before you start to bring on a design partner, before you start to bring on all these things, you have to really start to be serious and affirmative and determined about your values, how to capture them, how to communicate them to yourself, to your constituents, to your employees ultimately. So my answer would be right at the beginning and in parallel, and continue to have it be something that you push and pull and prod and prune and trim and expand on as your company grows. Values aren't a finite concept. They can change, and they should change with the times.
Stephen, you work with quite a bit of startups, and referencing the RT.com article, what was your take on what Cleveland was saying in regards to, setting his own brand values? Because he mentioned in the article that he wished that he had started from the beginning, as opposed to at a later stage.
I thought you did a great job, Lucien, of kind of characterizing how to think about it. I guess one of the things I want to add to what you had talked about was a couple of things. We were talking about misconceptions of branding earlier in another conversation. And one thing that people look at is they seem to think that marketing branding really relies on what we're selling to somebody, and versus what are people interested in. Like the orientation is what we call like a kind of an internal orientation. We got a product, we got to sell it. Versus people are out there who are wanting something from us, and how do we communicate that, and how do we talk about that, our values around that, and how we're going to help people do something or move them in some way. So I was thinking about that, and I was also thinking about what's the face of the brand? What does it emote? Who is it connecting with?